Alright, what's going on, guys? Biot-Savart back again with another tier list, this time for the Modern Warfare 3 weapons. Um, so we're going to start off with pretty much the order everything's unlocked in from top to bottom. So let's start off with the M4A1. I have the M4A1 in the S category. This is right off the start, one of the best guns in the game. Very good iron sights in this game, unlike COD 4. Very low recoil, dependable damage. I like the M4A1 a lot. In contrast, the M16 I have just a little bit lower at the A tier. It is a burst fire weapon, so you have to hit that first burst pretty much to have the advantage of the burst fire ability. But other than that, the iron sights are also kind of bad, but the recoil is manageable. At long ranges, you find it very difficult to hit a one burst, but nonetheless, the M16 is a very competitive gun. So the Scar L, as opposed to the Scar H, many of you might be familiar with from Modern Warfare 2, I also have in the S tier. Best iron sights in the game, very low recoil, you don't even need the kick proficiency. Same with the M4, you don't even need the kick proficiency. 30 bullets this time instead of 20 from Modern Warfare 2, with the catch being that Modern Warfare 3, as we recall, did not have any stopping power, so no more crutch perks, fortunately. Very good reload compared to Modern Warfare 2 as well. Surprisingly, weirdly faster, and a very good gun. Let's go with the CM901 is next. I have this in the A tier. The recoil was a bit illusionary because the gun itself on your screen, like the cartoon, bounced around a lot, but the recoil of where your bullets actually went was actually very low. So it was a bit deceiving how much recoil this gun had. You didn't even need the kick proficiency. Your gun just kicked around a lot, weirdly enough, but the iron sight's also surprisingly clear in my opinion. The iron sight's not really obtrusive like the M16's. CM901 also full auto. I think this gun also had a weird edit to it by Infinity Ward back in the day that if you attached some attachment, I don't know, remember what it was, the grenade launcher or shotgun or something, that the gun would shoot faster, like its fire rate would literally increase. Yeah, but nonetheless, a very good gun, even without that little adjustment. So the Type 95, this is pretty much like the FAMAS from Modern Warfare 2, an A tier gun. Its iron sights are not great, but they're good. I wouldn't call them bad. They're actually better than the M16s. But for whatever reason, the gun would bounce left to right when it recoiled annoyingly, and that would frequently prevent me from getting one bursts, where I feel like I would have gotten that one burst if I was using the M16. But the Type 95, a good gun nonetheless. Up next is the G36C. I have this in the S tier alongside the M4 and Scar. The iron sights are good, not great. They are pretty clear. The problem is with the iron sights is the muzzle flash. So if you can get a red dot or silencer on there, the G36 is, in my opinion, competitive with the ACR in being an almost zero recoil. Because the recoil for this gun is just vertically upward, so you can easily control it. Is almost zero recoil, 30 bullets, slow fire rate, so your bullets are going to be very accurate. You're not going to be spraying like with the M4, for example. I have it in the S tier. A phenomenal gun. The reload was also very fast, to its credit. Up next is the ACR. I have this in the S tier as well. The best gun in Modern Warfare 3. Everybody and their mother always used this. It's zero recoil. Iron sights very clear. Uh, the fire rate was moderate. I think faster than the G36. And just overall, the easiest assault rifle to use among these. Very good for the ACR. No surprises there. Okay, MK14 I have in the C tier. It just doesn't compete with the full auto guns of the game. It's a good gun in and of itself. The iron sights are good enough. What I noticed is that rapid fire was a great attachment because I often noticed that I was firing much faster than the game allowed naturally. So I wasn't timing it, so I was actually firing slower than what I otherwise would have been. But rapid fire gets rid of that because it can shoot as fast as you can fire on your end. So the iron sights are good. The rapid fire turns this into a B tier weapon. You'll notice that This gun is kind of better with Stalker and Marksman, so you pretty much are forced to use a Specialist Strike package if you don't already. In my opinion, that's the best kill streak package. But with Marksman and Stalker, the MK14 and Rapid Fire, the MK14 I would put in the B category, but by itself, the MK14, you're gonna feel like, why am I using this over literally any of these other assault rifles? Okay, the AK-47. I'm gonna put this in the A tier. A very good, solid gun. Only thing holding it back is that the recoil would bounce a lot. This did have noticeable recoil relative to the CM901 and Type 95 and M16. But other than that, the iron sights are very good. Reload is on the faster side, and a good gun nonetheless. The Fad, you almost never saw this weirdly in Modern Warfare 2. It's the last unlocked gun. I think it's unlocked at level 80 or something when your prestige ends. So you almost never saw this gun, but it's got a fast fire rate. The iron sights are good enough. They're better than the Type 95s, ironically, I would say. But this gun felt slow to kill. Like this gun had 40 bullets in the magazine. The reload was a bullpup fashion. It was good enough. It kind of reminds me of a Tar 21, but weaker. Like it felt like a 4-hit kill all the time, no matter what. Felt like it was the slowest killing assault rifle, which is not great. I mean, this is better than the F2000. Don't get me wrong; it's faster. It feels like it's faster killing than that from Modern Warfare 2, but still, you're gonna be wondering, why am I using the Fad? I think this is also the one Brazilian gun in Modern Warfare 3, so I mean, that's neither here nor there, but I find that pretty interesting. You don't very often see Brazilian weapons in games, but I feel comfortable putting it better than the MK14, but worse than these. It's not a bad gun, though. Onto the SMGs, the MP5 I have at a B tier, and I'm going to put the UMP45 just right there adjacent to it. These two are almost the same gun in Modern Warfare 3. The both good iron sights. MP5 30 bullets, UMP45 32 bullets. The MP5 shoots a little bit faster. The MP5's recoil is weirdly horizontal and to the right. Um, Outside of range, both of these SMGs are. The UMP is a little bit better outside of its typical SMG range, but still, in Modern Warfare 3, the SMGs were rightfully nerfed, and these are both pretty much identical. I have them in the B tier here. So moving on is the PP90M1. I have this in the A tier. This is a very good submachine gun, fast fire rate, large magazine, um, very mobile. If you pair this with steady aim, you do what people figured out you could do in Modern Warfare 3, which is just run around with steady aim pro, and steady aim pro gives you quick recovery after sprinting. So if you have that, you can just sprint around corners and quickly recover and just hip fire people. That worked very good on. I mean, the maps of Modern Warfare 3 work very well for that strategy, especially maps like Dome and Bootleg and Lockdown. I'm thinking of a lot of short sight lines and steady aim. This gun does very well. The reload also not bad, but this gun does churn through ammo. On the contrary, so the P90 I also have in the A tier. Just like the P90 was in Modern Warfare's 1, 2, and 3 now, and it's pretty much the same gun in every single Modern Warfare. I don't think the iron sights, fire rate, or reload was changed at all about the P90. Weirdly enough, the color of it was changed, though. It was like brown in the first two games, but all like carbon gray in the next in Modern Warfare 3, as you can see here. But nonetheless, the P90 has the largest magazine, I think, of all the SMGs at 50 bullets. So that's very good. The reload is a bit slower, but that's okay because you almost will never run out of ammo with a P90. It's got 50 bullets. That's more than the assault rifles with extended mags at that. So good for the P90. I should note that the P90 is what I got my first and only Moab with back when I played Modern Warfare 3. I got it sometime in the spring of 2012, back when Modern Warfare 3 was in its heyday, so credit where it's due. I got it on lockdown, and the same strategy applies with steady aim, just good for hip firing. And very manageable recoil, much better than the MP5 or UMP45. Up next is the PM9. I'd also like to note that this is the only Japanese gun in, I think, any of the Modern Warfare trilogy. That's not a plus or a minus, just interesting to note. Similar to the Fad, you never see any guns from Japan around here. But this is pretty much like the mini Uzi from Modern Warfare 2. It's it's good with steady aim. Like, it's only usable with steady aim and rapid fire. Other than that, like, you're wondering why I use this versus the MP7, obviously, but why use this even over the MP5 or UMP45? I would use the MP5 or UMP45 over this gun any day of the week. But this gun's reload is the slowest of all the SMGs, I think. It's got no reload cancel either. It's the longest. Um, but other than that, there's nothing really remarkable about this gun. The iron sights are also kind of weirdly bad, but that doesn't matter. You're going to be using this at very close ranges anyway. So up next is the MP7. Oh my lord. Long live the MP7. Boy, it wouldn't be Modern Warfare 3 without the ACR MP7. Holy crap. The best iron sights in the game. Zero recoil. Uh, medium speed reload. About as fast as the fastest SMG anyway. The magazine size was very large, if I recall correctly. It was like, I think it was more than 30 bullets, but I can't recall how many. It might have been 32. But you almost never ran out of ammo with this thing. Pretty much the best gun in the game. I mean, the MP7 is to Modern Warfare 3 as the AK-74U was to Black Ops 1, as the UMP-45 was in Modern Warfare 2. Overall, the best gun in the game. No doubt about it. Beyond that, let's move on to the LMGs now. The L86 LSW. Okay, I have this in the B tier. I'm gonna move the. Yeah, its recoil is not great, not terrible. The gun bounces a lot, but the recoil actually is on the more manageable side. Especially for Modern Warfare 3, where all the guns have a little bit more recoil than Modern Warfare 2. The iron sights are not great. They could be better, especially given the long sight lines you're looking across. This gun, weirdly, with thermal, becomes like an A-tier gun, I will note, because you don't see the gun itself on your screen bouncing around. This gun with thermal seemingly has zero recoil, so I don't know what's up with that, but credit where it's due to the L86 LSW. Moving on to the MG36. I have this better than the L86 on average. Reload just, I think, faster than the L86. Iron sights, in my opinion, better. High damage, higher fire rate, I think, or about equal. And I think less recoil overall than the L86. So I would prefer the MG36 over the L86 any day of the week. Unless the L86 had thermal and you're playing on, a map suited for that. So up next is the PKP Pecheneg. I'm going to put this in the A tier because it's like the RPD. Very low recoil. I think this has the least recoil of all the LMGs. Good iron sights for long ranges. Very slow reload on the contrary. But I will note what turns this gun great is that once you discover that the rapid fire is pretty much like stopping power for this LMG in particular, this gun all of a sudden becomes the RPD from Modern Warfare 2 injected into Modern Warfare 3. That is to say, it's extremely good. The PKP Pecheneg with rapid fire and grip is an amazing gun. Low recoil, has high fire rate. Very good. I would highly recommend you use the rapid fire with grip. Up next is the MK46. I'm going to put this in the A tier. Oh, I would like to note that I would still, even without rapid fire, I would hold the PKP in the A tier, even without that little caveat. It's still a good gun, but even by itself. The MK46, nonetheless. I have this in the A tier as well. This has the highest fire rate of all the LMGs. Very manageable recoil. The iron sights are a little funny, but once you get used to them, you'll notice they're among the best in the game. They're very clear. It's just like a circle, and within that circle is a little post. Very clear at long ranges. Um, Very manageable recoil. I think all it does is go up. So once you just get used to that, the MK46 you'll unlock is a very good LMG. The M60E4, I'm going to put in the B tier. The iron sights are the worst in the game. That is without a doubt. The fire rate very slow. If you pair, okay, so once you get used to the iron sights, they're not they're still that bad. I'm not going to lie to myself here. They're still bad, but the grip with rapid fire on the M60E4 shifts this from being a C tier weapon right down here to a B tier weapon once you discover that, because it kills much faster, and with the M60, I think also has as low recoil as the PKP Pecheneg, but has much worse iron sights, unfortunately. But the grip and rapid fire on the M60 E4 you'll find is a very good combination, or at least as competitive as the other B tier guns here. Like if you like you wouldn't use the M60 E4 if you had to win a game for your life above any of these A tier or S tier weapons, certainly. But for a B tier weapon, it's competitive. Okay, up next is the sniper rifles. Let's move on to the Barrett 50 cal. This is a long-time Call of Duty favorite. Everybody knows the Barrett 50 cal. It's an S tier sniper rifle. If you need to snipe somebody consistently, this is your gun. 10 bullets per magazine, semi-automatic, very powerful. Anywhere in the upper body and shoulders, I think, is a one-hit kill. A very consistent gun. Thing is that it's got a lot of recoil, but to be fair, between shots, that recoil will settle at a reasonable time. At the distances, you'll want to be engaging people with a sniper rifle anyway. Credit where it's due, the Barrett 50 cal for being a consistent gun all these years. Up next is the L11-8A, or L118A, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know how it was ever pronounced. I very rarely saw this gun back in the heyday of Modern Warfare 3. I have this in the A tier. This is kind of like the intervention. We'll get to the MSR in a moment being like the intervention, but this is like the analog for the intervention at the start of Modern Warfare 2, where you unlock it. You also unlock the L118A at the start of Modern Warfare 3 at the same time as the Barrett. Same gun, pretty much. The only difference is that it's bolt action, and the reload is not as fast as the intervention, I recall. This gun has poor reload cancel. Same thing with the Barrett. Slow reload for the Barrett as well, but it's got 10 bullets in it, so you're pretty much not going to be running out of bullets in a gunfight anytime soon. But the L118A has 5 bullets in contrast to the Barrett's 10, so that's why I'm keeping it down here at the A tier relative to the Barrett. All right, the Dragunov. This is one of the worst guns in Modern Warfare 3. Low damage. The recoil is annoyingly high for something you're supposed to spam to get kills. You'll find it very difficult to get headshots and neck shots with this gun. I don't even think if this gun is silenced, it gets one-hit kills on the head. I think you have to hit him twice at that point. But nonetheless, the Dragunov is one of the most difficult and worst guns in all of Modern Warfare 3. People using this are doing it as a joke, pretty much. It's a terrible gun. The AS, and there's no attachment, I would say, that makes this better. I would say the ACOG is, I don't know, the most usable on the Dragunov. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, even with the kick proficiency, you'll find yourself being annoyed that you can't kill people before they run away. Up next is the AS-50. I have this in the A tier. This is like an inferior Barrett 50 cal. It's got 6 bullets. Its scope is weirdly zoomed out more than the average sniper rifle scope. You would think that's a bad thing, but I find in Modern Warfare 3 the maps are smaller. That actually kind of works to your advantage. Like the hallway in Lockdown, for example, you're weirdly better off with the scope being more distant with this gun for whatever reason in Modern Warfare 3, just because the sight lines are not as long as they are in Modern Warfare 2. So the AS-50 I like a lot. Its damage is similar, I believe, to the L118A and Barrett 50 cals, and its recoil is manageable. So this is right up there with the Barrett 50 cal. So credit where it's due. Okay, moving on to the RSAS, the RSASS, I think, or something like that. I have this in the C tier. It's just barely above the Dragunov. I mean, this gun, it's the same thing as the Dragunov, but I mean, it also has 10 bullets. Also, kind of better with the ACOG. You shouldn't use this as a genuine sniper rifle like you would the AS-50, L118A, and Barrett. You're pretty much using this as like the M21 from Modern Warfare 2. You're gonna try to two tap people most of the time with this thing. I can't say it is kind of fun to tap on people and kill them quickly with this. It's kind of satisfying. But other than that, I ask myself, why wouldn't I just prefer to get the one shot sniper kill? Why am I using this? I mean, this gun is kind of a joke. Also, like the maps are small in Modern Warfare 3. Why would you use the RSAS over the PM9 or MK14 even? Yeah. Moving on, we got the MSR next. I have this in the A tier. Only reason everything's about it is pretty much the same as the L118A. I don't really know why this game has two of these bolt action rifles, but I'm not complaining. More choice is fine by me. Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer. Same reason for being in the A tier. It's bolt action versus the Barrett 50 cal semi-automatic. At close range, you can also. I will notice. At close range, you can kind of spam the Barrett 50 cal as if it were a shotgun, and kind of defend yourself that way. You can't. You can't do that with the AS-50. I should note. The AS-50's fire rate is much slower than the Barrett's. This is for whatever reason limited. Like you can't spam this in a room. And the MSR, same thing with the bolt action rifles. At close range, you're pretty much betting on a no scope, or unless you're one of the greatest quick scopers of all time or something. But at close range, you're going to get destroyed by other guns. But other than that, MSR, a very competitive, good sniper rifle. High damage as well. Okay, up next are the shotguns. The USAS 12 will start us off here. I'm going to put this in the B tier. Same thing with the KSG 12. Both powerful shotguns. Why, like, for shotguns, I think everything except the striker is going to go in the B tier here. Spoiler alert, yeah. But the problem is it takes like forever and ever to get to weapon proficiency level 20 something, 28 I think, unlocks damage, or 25 unlocks range or something like that. Before then, these shotguns are so frustrating to use. I mean, first of all, their range is literally finite, like beyond 15 meters or 20 meters or something. Like the bullets just go into the stratosphere, they don't do anything at all. Um, as far as the USAS 12 and KSG 12 go, they're decent shotguns. They're certainly better than the SPAS 12 and AA 12, that's for sure. These are actually powerful at close range. I'll take these over the SPAS and AA 12 any day of the week. Um, their USAS is semi-automatic, well, fully automatic. Technically, it fires very slowly though. There's no rapid fire attachment either. The KSG 12 is pump action, but they end up firing at about the same rate anyway. The USAS is only slightly faster, from what I recall. They're fine enough, but for a shotgun, if you have the striker unlocked, you're just going to go with the striker. Moving on, we have the SPAS 12. I have in the C tier. This is such a disgrace from where it was in Modern Warfare 2 from being the best shotgun right as you start the game to being such a bad gun. Why would you ever use this? This is so frustrating to use. Even with the damage proficiency, it's pump action. The pump is it's very slow. There's no perk or weapon proficiency that pumps your SPAS 12 faster. That is what holds this gun back. If you could just make it pump faster as you increase the proficiency, that would be less annoying. But so much frustration stems from your first shot of this will not kill, and you're sitting there waiting to pump that gun, and your character just doesn't do it fast enough, and you die. Why would you ever use the SPAS 12 in this game? It's a joke. The AA 12 is somehow even worse. One of the worst guns in the game. Absolutely terrible range, terrible damage, very large hip fire spread. I have no idea why you would ever use this, if not a joke. This thing is worthless. The extended mag's worthless. It'll take you so long to get range and damage, you'll wonder what was the point of that at all. The AA 12, another fall from grace from Modern Warfare 2, and this was like the second best shotgun in the game. Even with steady aim, the AA 12 in Modern Warfare 3 is terrible. Don't ever use it. Moving on to the striker. Yeah, I've already said it. You know this is going in the A tier. I'm putting it off the S tier just because this has finite range, as do all the shotguns. You pretty much have to position yourself to succeed with this thing. You have to also play a different style with all the shotguns. But this is semi-automatic. It does decent enough damage. The reload, well, the thing is that the magazine for this is like I think 8 shells, so that's pretty good. You'll almost always have enough for 2, if not 3 enemies before reloading. So credit where it's due. The decent hipfire spread, um, a decent range. Overall, the best shotgun. That's not saying a lot relative to Modern Warfare 3 for those of you who have played that, but in Modern Warfare 3 terms, for those of you who have played Modern Warfare 2, this is not saying a lot about the Striker, but for Modern Warfare 3, the Striker is the best shotgun in the game. Okay, moving on to the Model 1887. Also, massive joke. Everything the same with the Spaz, but the pump is somehow even slower. I don't know why you would torture yourself using this thing. This thing is garbage. Moving on. Also, there's no attachment for this, as far as I recall. Like, why would you use this? Maybe there's like a unique proficiency or something, but other than that, what is the point of this? This thing is terrible. The FMG9s. This thing I have in the A tier. It's generally the most reliable gun once you get it akimboed. Before that, it's for a secondary. It gets the job done, I guess. You're pretty much going to be hip firing this within close range. The FMG9 akimbos are, before patch, they were like the Modern Warfare 3's model of 18-87 akimbos within range. I mean, you could spray people across the map with this thing. It's hilarious. This thing akimbo also weirdly takes down air support very well, from what I recall. Like, you can shoot down AH-6 overwatches and attack helicopters pretty well with this akimbo, if I recall correctly. Unless that's been patched since. I haven't tried that, to be fair, in multiple years. But overall, a very good secondary. This is also A tier ranked as far as secondary weapons go. Obviously, you wouldn't play a game with it as you would the other primary weapons here. Up next is the MP9. Very similar to the FMG9, except better at long range, less recoil. This is kind of like a small submachine gun, quite honestly. You could almost get away with using this thing as a primary. I mean, it's almost like an SMG with little upwards recoil. I noticed the recoil is like mostly side to side with the MP9, so a very good submachine gun. Uh, I think both the FMG9 and MP9 have 32 bullets per magazine, so very good magazine size on both of these. In contrast, up next is the Scorpion, and I have this at I have this in the B tier. As a machine pistol, it does decent enough damage. Problem is only 20 bullets. Something weird about this gun is that I think the Scorpion with extended mags, when you hold it out, it gives you extra sprint time. I don't know when you would ever sprint around with the Scorpion with extended mags, I believe. But there you go. The Scorpion Akimbo also not bad, but uh, relative to the Akimbo FMG9s or Akimbo MP9s, Scorpion Akimbo is it's not as competitive in my opinion. The Scorpion also has weirdly much more recoil than it did in Black Ops 1. The Scorpion in this game actually has recoil. In Black Ops 1, the Scorpion had the least recoil of all the guns in the game. It was like the ACR, but like 5 hits out of range, but that's neither here nor there. The G18 is up next. I have this in the D tier. Absolutely terrible. Another huge fall from grace, similar to the Spaz 12 and AA12. The worst backup in the game. Don't ever use this. Nobody ever did. We were all disappointed back in 2011 when we saw the G18 was back in the game. You could akimbo it. Even when you akimbo this thing, it's much worse than every other akimboed machine pistol. It's terrible. Also, I think this has less than 32 bullets nowadays in Modern Warfare 3 than it did in Modern Warfare 2. It seems to have like, I don't know, it feels like less bullets. I don't recall how many, but this gun was terrible. I never used it for the right reasons. Onto all the pistols. So the pistols here, I'm going to start us off with the USP and P99. I have both in the B tier as far as pistols go anyway, as far as secondary weapons go anyway. If you need something quick to swap to and somebody has low health, yeah, these will get it done. I think they both have 12 bullets and take 3 hits to kill in total. They're fine. Nothing to say there. This individual did not include the MP412 in their little tier list, unfortunately, but this is literally the only tier list I could find of Modern Warfare 3 guns list, and I didn't feel like making my own. So, nonetheless, the MP412 I would put in the B tier. Why is that? Um, High damage, manageable recoil. You can akimbo them, but their reload is the slowest of all secondaries, I think, at 4 seconds or something ridiculous like that. It has this weird reload animation where your guy like sets the pistol down, knocks the bullets out, and then sets them back in. Yeah, it's just too long. That's the only reason it's the MP412. I would have it a B tier if it was an image here. Onto the 44 Magnum here. I have this in the A tier as far as secondary weapons go. It seems to be one of the best pistols. It seems to be the best pistol, quite honestly. Um, High damage, manageable recoil. I think it only goes vertically up. This is great to pair with the Riot Shield, for example, just as you would in Modern Warfare 2. You would have akimbo magnums as your secondary. You'd pull them out immediately and wreck somebody who's running away from you or something like that. I think the 44 magnums was a 2-hit kill, so credit where it's due. It's very good at close range. Um, Up next is the FN57 I have in the B tier. It's pretty much the same as the UFC P45 and P99. This has like 20 bullets in it, though, to be fair. But as a secondary, as far as secondaries go, it gets the job done. Credit where it's due. Easy to use iron sights. I think it has a faster fire rate and less recoil than these two, so it's like slightly above these, but I still would prefer the 44 Magnum above the FN57. The Desert Eagle is the last image here, but that's not the end of the video. I'm going to put the Desert Eagle in the D tier. This is a fall from grace from a fall from grace. In Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 1, this was a very good pistol. In Modern Warfare 2, this was a fall from grace. It was a very bad pistol, and in Modern Warfare 3, it's somehow even worse. This thing is like terrible recoil, terrible high damage, to be fair, but at the ranges we'll be using this, you're pretty much spraying and praying with this thing. If you akimbo this thing, if you have the patience, I should say, to get this weapon proficiency to akimbo, I don't know, maybe you had a better experience than me, but this gun was always terrible. Why would you ever use this if you have the 44 Magnum or even MP412? This gun is terrible. Even the gun sound is weirdly bad. The next guns I have to talk about because they are, as you can see, not included in the images involved in this tier list. But we're going to talk about the launchers here. So the SMA I have as a B tier launcher. As far as the launchers go, anyway, it fires straight, has one rocket at spawn. Scavenger does not replenish rocket launcher rockets in this game. Thank goodness, by the way. That would be more annoying. And it locks onto the small locks onto aircraft. It almost always doesn't down any helicopter with one rocket. I don't think it downs any helicopter or any aircraft with one rocket except the UAVs. So keep that in mind as a starting launcher. I guess to clear out choke points, it gets the job done. You'll find that that's very annoying, but against somebody with blast shield, I think this thing does like 90 damage unless it direct impacts them. So in contrast, the Javelin I have as a C tier launcher. Kills every aircraft with one hit, to be fair. You only spawn with one Javelin rocket that spawn. These don't get replenished in Modern Warfare 3 anymore, so you have to make that count. It takes an extremely long time to get this thing out and just get it to aim at something. So if you want to take down air support with the Javelin, you're gonna have to be using Blind Eye if you weren't anyway. If you didn't have a dedicated class, and if you haven't unlocked the Stinger yet, obviously. The Javelin, you can also do an area denial strategy by locking onto an area and effectively launching a Reaper drone missile at that location. That can get you some kills, I guess, if that's how you want to spend your time. The thing is that takes a lot of time, and why would you? If you wanted to get kills, I mean, why would you? I mean, as a joke, I guess that's fun, and as a I guess pulling a bar on some sort of lottery casino like slot machine, I guess that's fun to get 1 or 2 kills every now and then. But I mean, other than that? What's the point? Why not just use the smaller or something as a primary? Besides that, up next you unlock the Stinger. I have that in the A tier. It works most reliably. 2 missiles. All it does is lock on to aircraft. You cannot kill anybody with it unless it's completely on accident. Unless you somehow like are adjacent to a wall and you launch into a wall corner and somebody walks in the room, and I guess you could get a kill that way if you wanted to waste your time doing that. But the Stinger is the same as it was in Modern Warfare 2. It's the ordinary aircraft denial weapon. Up next is a weird, like, very large grenade launcher, 4 grenades in one magazine, I guess. The XM25. I have that in the C tier. It's kind of a big joke. I don't know why anybody would ever use that thing besides just testing out the gimmick. This did have a weird setting to it where if you aim down sight and like set its range to something like a wall that's near you, this thing effectively became a shotgun, and you could like clear rooms with it because the grenade would, like, say you pointed this thing at a wall, aim down sight, and like set its range to detonate at 4 meters or something. So I guess now that that setting has been made on your XM25, you could walk into a room, shoot one of these grenades, and it explodes 4 meters later. Okay, I guess you have a shotgun now for close range engagements, but you would have to like deliberately do that in the heat of battle. You're only ever gonna use that as a joke. Like, why would you ever do that? Also, this thing I noticed, like when I'm using blast shield, I survive multiple grenade explosions around me. So like this gun is made almost useless by blast shield. And slow reload. They do weirdly though fire in a straight line. Like you don't have to arc them at all across the map. You're pretty much firing line drives across the map. I've noticed if it hits somebody, it's a direct hit. So I guess for montage's sake, this is one of the more interesting guns to use. I have to admit, I never saw this gun in anybody's Modern Warfare 3 montage ever back in the day. If you have one, please let me know of any XM25 clips from Modern Warfare 3. Maybe that'd be interesting to see. But I have it in the C tier. It's a massive joke. The M320 was also the M320 GLM. No idea what GLM stands for, but it's like if your grenade launcher on your assault rifle was a secondary, this is like a closer analog to the Thumper from Modern Warfare 2. For those of you that remember the Thumper, also in the C tier. No idea why you would use this as a secondary. No idea when you would really use this. It could be useful to clear out enemies behind cover, or at least do a little bit of damage to them to get them to back up, or easier to kill otherwise. But the M320 GLM was kind of useless. 2 grenades only, I think you got with it. With the XM25, I think you got like a lot of grenades. I think like 8 or 12. So you could actually feasibly use that for a few kills. But the M320 GLM, I think you only got 2 grenades with it, so almost useless as a secondary. You know what? I have in the D tier. Excuse me. I don't know why you would ever use it. Up next, you would unlock the RPG-7. I have that in the B tier. It's pretty much the same thing as the SMA. In contrast, however, it's better in that you get 2 rockets with it. So you can't replenish your 1 SMA rocket before dying. But I guess you get 2 shots with the RPG-7. However, at longer ranges, you will notice that the RPG-7 rocket does veer off wherever you were aiming a little bit more. So if you're in the business of firing RPG-7s across the map, then you'll notice it's a bit less consistent of a killing device. Also, it doesn't lock on to aircraft, so you're pretty much going to have to predict the movement of attack helicopters, AH-6 Overwatches, Osprey gunners, and attack helicopters, AH-6 Overwatches, Osprey gunners, and I think that's all the aircraft, right? Whatever other aircraft there is in the game. The Reaper, kind of impossible to shoot down with the RPG-7 unless you're, I don't know, just very lucky. I mean, I've never seen that also. I've never seen a clip of somebody take out a Reaper drone with an RPG-7, but that's theoretically possible, I suppose. I believe a SMA can take a Reaper drone out with 1 rocket, so why wouldn't the RPG-7 if you could hit one? But it's there as a aerial denial weapon. It's, I guess, slightly better than the SMA for the 2 rockets. The last weapon I'd like to mention is the Riot Shield. I have that in the D tier. It's a joke. It's not even a weapon. It's It's something you use to annoy people if you want to waste their time, I guess. If you've got time on a Saturday or Sunday to play Modern Warfare 3 and I guess you want to waste people's time, you could use the Riot Shield. Yeah, it's there. If you want to waste your own time and try to do well with the Riot Shield, well as in get kill streaks and get point streaks, excuse me, um, and do well with the Riot Shield. I don't know what you think you're going to accomplish, but settle down. To be fair, the Riot Shield in Modern Warfare 3 is a little bit better than the Modern Warfare 2 Riot Shield in that it has two weapon proficiencies. One is the first you unlock is melee, which like halves the time it takes to hit somebody with your Riot Shield melee attack, your bashing attack. So that's okay. The Riot Shield of Modern Warfare 3, to be fair, is better than that of its Modern Warfare 2 counterpart. It's more efficient at bashing people. And the other weapon proficiency at level 10 is speed, in which you move 10% faster. So, okay, I guess you're not really going to be chasing people down with a riot shield. I don't know why that's useful at all, but it's there. You're going to be crouched most of the time with this thing anyway, when in contact with the enemy anyway. But the riot shield is a massive joke, as are the other D tier weapons. I don't know why you would ever use any of these. So that pretty much covers my Modern Warfare 3 guns tier list here. Thanks for watching. Feel free to. I've also done similar tier lists for the maps and weapons of Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. I think this will round out that series. So if you like those, feel free to check out that playlist. And if you like my kind of content, feel free to subscribe to me on YouTube. All right. Thank you for watching. Biot-Savart out.